Oh gosh. Hi everybody, and welcome back to Mommas with Commas. We have such a good conversation tonight. We are talking about the much needed conversation, voting in America and why it's important. I think we've all just been feeling just overwhelmed with emotion with everything that's going on um, in the world and specifically here in the US. So we're going to talk about that tonight. We have three special guests on the show tonight. We're going to start off the chat with Brad and Chris. Um, they both have an amazing story to tell. And then the second half of the chat will be with Amy Wentz, who is a candidate running for office. And we'll go into a little bit more in Richmond, Virginia. So welcome to the chat, everybody. We also want to let you guys know that this is the last of the season. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this like seasons, y'all. Like this like we got season one. We wrapping up tonight, okay? And then we'll have a special show in July, just one special show in July, and then we'll come back in August. So we're super excited. Welcome if you haven't been. We are streaming live on YouTube and Facebook Live right now. So welcome everybody. If you have any questions, comments, you can hit us up in the comments. We will get them and we'll be able to answer. If you have any questions for Brad, if you have any questions for Chris, just pop them in the comments and we'll definitely be paying attention to you guys there. So, Brad, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. Welcome. And Chris, hi, how are you? Thank you so much. Your sound is a little bit down. I don't know what happened when we went in, but I know that you're busy. You got a brand new baby family member, a brand new team. I know you're busy. Thank you so much for being here with us. We really appreciate it. It's still a little bit muffled, just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm hearing her well.
What about now?
That's a lot better than what it was in the beginning. And just so that you guys know, if we do experience any sound issues, we've learned that if we go out of the chat and come back in, then sometimes it'll just kind of like fix itself. So, we'll just roll with it. But we have so much to talk to you guys about. Gosh. Hi, Nikla.
Hi.
Hi. Your shirt is dope. What's going on with your shirt tonight, girl?
So I don't know. I was in the Nipsey mood, feeling very determined, focused right now. So I'm wearing this shirt. I'm gonna post it on. It's my cousin. He makes shirts. And there's all different. He has the Kobe collection. This is the I can't really see. It says Rise and Grind. But I'll post the information there for everyone. But he has a lot of great different types of shirts depending on your style. So it's definitely good.
That one is nice.
Yes.
It's so nice.
That one looks like it could go on Chris's wall.
Definitely. It does. All right, so that means that Chris need to get to the t-shirt business. So
I'm loving. That's what drew my eyes there. Because I love art. I'm an artsy girl. So I'm really feeling that, and I'm like, okay, maybe I can get my cousin to kind of get one of those and put it on a shirt for me, because I love art. I grew up with a lot of theater. And actually both of my girls came out very good. They can draw really well. And in their in elementary school, their art was picked to be showcased. And so I guess I carried it, I passed it on to them. I didn't really fulfill that dream, but they have that talent as well. So that's a passion of mine that I do adore. And I think Toya too. Toya is the same way.
Yeah, that's how I met Chris. I was wheeling and dealing at the art at the beach, you know, my little mini art farms, and met his beautiful wife and his. I think the girls were in the stroller. I think it was everybody together that night, and I was surprised at who I had actually met, who I had stumbled across here in Jacksonville. I was like, wow, hey, I met a local celebrity. This is amazing. So it's just so cool to be connected. Chris, let's kick it off with you. Tell us about your journey as an artist. Like, what made you? How did you become who you are today?
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I changed the mic. But I don't know. I've always been an artist. It's always been something that I was passionate about. And I know it's rare, like for a kid to grow up and do what they wanted to do as a child, but like my dream hasn't changed since I was young. And I don't know. Like I said, I've always done it and worked at the same time. And at every job, you know, people would always be like, you should be working for Disney, or you should be doing this or doing that.
Right.
And so in 2016, I decided to give it a try and just to go for it and see what happens. And I've been doing it ever since. And it's taken me around the world. My art has been around the world, like all kind of crazy stuff. Celebrities have my work. It's crazy. It's been a pretty cool journey so far.
Yes, he shares his journey when something amazing happens, and that's what I love about him. Like when something happens, he puts it out there and he shares it. And I don't think he has to realize how it inspires us, because it's coming back. Like every post you post, I'm like, okay, what is he saying? It's so inspiring. The people that you touch and how you touch people, and the comments that you get, and we don't measure anything with the amount of likes and hearts, but all of that just kind of it's an individual, and it's a person being touched, and it just means so much. And I love it. It's inspired me. So thank you, and thank you so much, and thank you for what you're doing for the city. Yeah, definitely. So let me ask you this. How have you come to be so influential in the community? What strides have you taken? What projects have you taken on to be impactful here in the community of Jacksonville, Florida?
I don't know. When I'm from Tallahassee, like I mentioned before, and moving to Jacksonville, since it's so big, I thought of it like a city like New York or something, or Atlanta. But when I got here, I realized that it's just like a bigger version of Tallahassee, like a big country.
Yep.
And so I used to think that I couldn't make it here in art, that I had to go to New York or Miami or California or a place like that. But I don't know, I just started putting my work out there and being involved in more art things like art walk downtown or at the beaches. And then I guess it just kind of caught on. Like more people started to notice me, and I think the more attention that I got elsewhere made me get more attention here in Jacksonville. The social media played a big part of me getting shows and getting opportunities like all over the country and stuff. And so once that started happening, Jacksonville started to notice me. And I started getting murals. I have probably about 15 murals around the city and all kind of stuff. I work with kids. They come up here to the studio from time to time. I've been out to different middle schools and elementary schools to speak to the students. And so just the more I put myself out there, the more opportunities I get to share with the world what I do.
You definitely are. The most recent mural is it 4 pieces, 4 parts, or 5 parts?
It's actually 8 pieces.
Eight individuals. But it sits on the side of a major highway here. So when you're driving, you look up, and I would just call them panels, but it was 8 individual artists that did murals, and it's like a landmark now. And people stop by, they take pictures. It glows when you're driving down the highway. It's just an amazing piece of work. Thank you so much.
Video shoots, all kind of things happen over there now.
Definitely positive energy, good stuff. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you, Chris, what inspires you? Like, what inspires you to come up with the creative pieces that you come up with? Because you're very talented. I know you've
Mhm.
heard that before, but what inspires you to come up with such great pieces of work?
Um, I would say this life. Just the people I know, people I've seen, family, friends, experiences I've been through, and this life.
That's great. That's awesome. I mean, I think it shows the true form,
Yeah,
especially of what's going on. I think you can express yourself, deeply through art, and that's what I like about it. It's kind of read between the lines, so to speak.
yeah.
If you get it, you get it. You know.
It's almost like
And
having like writing in a like a diary or a journal, but I
Right.
put it on canvas instead.
yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I
Oh,
think that's
that's a segue. That's a segue to Brad.
right.
Brad, Brad and his powerful poetry.
Mm,
Brad, I be on your Instagram and you'll post something. I'll be like, wait a minute. Wait a minute, everybody. I mean, it is so profound and so deep. Um, guys, tell us about who you are and what you do.
Um, well, I'm an artist, a poet. I think my work centers in poetry and then bridges into multidisciplinary forms. And I think fundamentally, I would say it's a ministry for me.
mhm,
And I started writing in church. I was youth pastor at a church in Brooklyn, and myself and a music minister would have all these extensive conversations around ministry and arts and the church and reaching people, and and he was the musical director for Harry Belafonte.
mhm.
Mm.
He had this idea to do a whole arts program and had Harry Belafonte come in to keynote it. So he kind of turned to me and was like, okay, well, after all that, all that stuff you've been talking, I know you're going to do something, you know?
Right.
And that is the first poem that I really did publicly. That piece is called Epic and kind of traces the history of Black music in context of our struggle here. And so that's where I started writing. And then fast forward maybe a year or so, I was in Brooklyn getting my hair cut, and I found a flyer to the Sunday Tea Party.
Okay.
So my creative journey kind of jumped off really in what's now called the New Black Arts Movement. So that's the same movement in Brooklyn that Mos Def and Erykah Badu, Saul Williams. So those were my peers. So that was like, it's like Nirvana, Black Nirvana in
Yes.
and that kind of richness, it changes you, it moves you. You become part of a river, really.
Mhm.
So, but for me, it's always been, some people come to this work knowing like, oh, they want to be famous or they're actors, or and there's no shame in any of it. But like for me, my center was always around ministry, and I think at some point I became a little disillusioned with the scene. It's just like at some point what you can do to get an applause, and I feel like I needed more, and I didn't necessarily know, so then I kind of fell into HIV prevention.
Mm.
And that became a career for around 5 years. And that work put me in touch with like Black queer arts and poetics,
Mhm.
in that sense, as well as really intense activist work, not only locally but nationally.
Yep.
And then I got disillusioned in there or burnt out there, and then I went back to school, and I went to I studied political science, finished my undergrad, then I got into a PhD program for political science. And so I was doing that for a few years, and then I got depressed. And then I went to cooking school. And then I was cooking in New York City for, high-end kitchens for like 4 or 5 years. And then that wore me out. And I came back to where I live, which is my heart. Like every part of me lives, breathes inside this work, And so,
full circle.
The last 5, 6 years, I stopped and started creating. So this year, my first collection is coming out. It's called Everywhere Aliens. I'm excited about that. And in addition to that, 2019 was pretty monumental for me because there's been a real synergy that's happened with my creative work and my public health work, which I really didn't anticipate. So I was in Brazil for a 2-week residency in Sao Paulo at the early part of January last year. So I was doing a project telling the story of a house ballroom house that's in New York and Brazil. And so that was a powerful couple of weeks. Goddamn.
Wow.
And then at the end of 2019, I was in Taiwan at the first museum-based HIV/AIDS exhibition at MoCA Taipei. Did a project I called it Blood Brothers, where I interviewed 5 HIV positive Taiwanese men.
Okay.
And then built like a master poem out of all that data information. And I also worked with a visual artist to work with the images, and then did like a multimedia performance in Taiwan with the, and that work, I didn't know what it would become. I didn't know shit about Taiwan, you know what I mean? But it ended up really digging into like the colonial history and identity, and it was, so that's some of the stuff I'm doing.
That is so powerful. That's such an amazing. We have someone, Miss Jade. She said the journey. We're all on it. I could definitely, understand that journey. You just kind of you start off, and you bounce around a little bit, and you come back, and you get away, and then you come back again. It's almost like you can't get away from what you are meant to be here for. So it's strong right now. I met Brad last year, so right at I don't know, was it right before you went to Taiwan or right after? I think it was before.
It was before.
Yeah. So he was hosting. Yes. So Jay said yes. So it was a poetry night that he was hosting in Brooklyn, and I just so happened to be up there on my 2-week situation. I go back and forth to New York to work, and my friend Theo, he came from DC, and he was like, "Yo, I'm on my way to Brooklyn. I'm about to come pick you up," and I was like, "That was fun. We're going to see some poetry tonight," and I was so excited to be there, and that night was so magical. I was like, this is crazy. I can't believe I'm here, with you guys and in this space. And Jessica Care Moore is here, and Jay was killing it. And y'all was like, hey, Tony, you want to get on the mic? And I was like, no, it was such a cool night. And I'm so thankful to have met you and to continue to be in touch with you. And thank you for all the work you've done here and around the world.
Yes.
Chris, I know I know a lot's been going on emotionally with you, with
Yeah.
me, with Niqua, with Brad, with all of us. Can you share with us how some of today's current events are affecting you personally?
It's crazy, especially with the I don't know. It seems like one thing after the next. Like every day is something new. So, like my wife, for instance, she had like really complicated pregnancy. So at the beginning of the year, while she was pregnant, she had to be on bed rest. So she was on bed rest, and then coronavirus hit, and then in the middle of coronavirus, ended up having a baby prematurely. And so that was like a real crazy experience being in the hospital during coronavirus. Everybody having to wear a mask. And actually, when she was in labor, we were up there for like 7 days. And they were trying to keep the baby, and he was born in 28 weeks. And like I wasn't even able to leave the hospital floor. So if I left the hospital, I wouldn't be able to come back to see him being born. And so 7 days, I was up there, same clothes, hospital food. But yeah,
Wow.
it's been real stressful. I haven't really been able to get, well, now I am, but before I wasn't able to get as much work done as I normally do. And then on top of that, we have the situation with the mod that happened, and then Breonna Taylor, and then George Floyd, and then like the list of names go on and on. But at that point, it kind of like ignited the fire in me to kind of talk about those things more through my art. And yeah, so that's what I've been doing now, just trying to speak on current events. It's kind of like a form of therapy, like talking to a psychiatrist and stuff. I talk to the canvas, and then the work that I create, it's a relief for me to be able to get some of the things out that I'm feeling, but then it also helps the other people who are viewing it, get through what they're going through. And yeah, so, yeah, it's been a crazy, crazy thing.
Yeah, it has.
Trying to
Oh,
make.
God bless you guys. I'm glad y'all made it through.
Oh yeah.
Gosh, being in that hospital for 7 days, you're going to have a story to tell. That little man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so definitely. And I know it's too, I mean, being a mother myself, I'm leery with hospitals anyway. So I'm just like on edge. So I can only imagine, because I had my son right after 9/11. So, not to compare, but I'm just saying, it was something very traumatic. And then I had to, it was like when it happened, it was like, oh, I hope I don't go into labor today. I hope, and he came after, but it's just the whole point of being, at that point in your life and something's going on and you're like, you don't know how or what is going to happen, so.
And then it was even crazier after she had the baby, and when they moved her to the postpartum floor, like the hospital was so overflowed with corona patients that they had to move some of them to the postpartum floor. So right next to her room was like a prisoner from one of the local jails or prisons next to her in the postpartum ward at the hospital.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Like unimaginable.
Yeah.
Like the times that we're living through. Like I think I had heard it all, and then you start hearing these personal stories. We living through it. All us just kind of like, okay, it's a prisoner next door with corona, and I'm having a baby. It's crazy. When we get a chance to breathe and come up for air and look back and really start dissecting, all of the different experiences that we had in 2020, it's definitely going to be history for the books. Wow.
Exactly.
Brad, your messages on Instagram, they're very bold. The black background with the white bold. I mean, it's kind of punching in the face. This one jumped out at me. You posted it on June 15th, so about 11 days ago. This country has failed us. This country has failed us. So tell us a little bit about that. What do you mean? What did you feel when you wrote that?
I think without being at war, this is the closest in our lifetime where a lot of us pushed up against that window. And the coronavirus, it's not just that people get sick and die. It's also just the unknown. I got sick, and it's how quick it can pick, and how in its taking people are isolated from each other.
Yeah.
And then watching the leadership, the analogy that I've been thinking about is like, we're talking about babies, and just like, you understood my lady and my babies in here. I need to be here. The world is crazy. I need to be present, And so like us watching everything that is there to us being ignored, being abandoned, like that's that's real terror. And I think that it's that juxtaposition that when, we've been watching Black folks die by cops for a minute. But I think it's up against that where not, like a whole lot of people figured out that if they're not niggas, they're real close to being niggas. Watching this president abandon the state.
Right.
And so then when George Floyd, that film, it's like millions more people that could not find themselves inside George Floyd's body found themselves inside his body.
Yeah.
It's that.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Uh-oh. Brad's frozen. Let's see if he comes back in. Okay, I'll remove him and then we'll have him come back in. I don't know if it's his internet. And then they can add back in. So, wow.
That was
deep.
Deep, because you think about it, and I just see this world like, so people are being bold and they're coming out and being very harmful to people, and it's scary. It's scary because it's like you don't even want to go out without the strap. So to speak, you know what I mean?
Yes. Chris, let me hear you. I know you're a little vocal about, getting the piece and getting the training and the concealed lockdown. Have you been able to do that yet?
Yeah, I actually just registered for a class. So I already had the piece, but I had to make it legal.
Okay. That sounds good. A lot. I mean, numbers have spiked in gun ownership, concealed. So I did the course, and now it was a month and a half wait to get the concealed license. So I have the appointment at the middle of next month. So just keep steadfast with the process because a lot of people are on it right now. Wow, what would be your message surrounding voting? Just in general,
That's for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm the person that hasn't always been for voting. I used to be one of those people that thought that my vote didn't count, that it didn't matter. They were going to put in there who they wanted to be in there anyway, whether I voted or not. But now, after this crazy 4 years that we've had, I wish I could vote 10 times.
Yep.
And I think everybody else needs to like get serious now, and what we have to say does matter, and so we gotta let our voices be heard, as well as the vote. So
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. I know a lot of guys that have that opinion. A lot of Black people have that opinion,
yeah.
and a lot of young people have that opinion. I just talked to a young lady last night. She turned 18, and I said, I have to register you to vote. And she was like, my vote ain't gonna count. I don't need my vote, and I said, we gotta change that mindset. We gotta vote. But I think now I'm on this thing where I used to focus on the president but now it's like pay attention to who the sheriff is, who's running as sheriff.
Vote.
So when I'm riding down the street and I see the signs, I'm like, I'm either taking my phone out and taking a picture so I can look up these people and understand who these people are. What's going on around us is really making us want to pay more attention to those things, who's in these offices. And who we've just been bubbling in all these years just because they got a D behind it or a R behind it. You want to make sure you know who you're putting into these offices.
We definitely got to start from, like they say, from the bottom up, because
Yes.
the people at the bottom is who's going to support the person up top. Yes. And I think that's where we failed with Obama the second term. We did not support him the way I feel we should have, and everybody can have their own opinion. That's fine. I don't feel that we voted the right people in there to support him so that he can get what was needed to be done. And so he was defeated, and he fought like hell those last 4 years, and they came right on in, and they were ready, and unfortunately we were sleeping. And now, we are where we are 4 years later. So It's unfortunate. Brad, you're back.
Brad's back. Sorry, Brad, you fell off.
What kind of hackery is going on over here?
You froze like this. You was like real intense, and it just froze. Gosh, I feel like we could talk to you guys for such a long time. I already feel like this conversation has been so interesting. But we have a candidate from Richmond that's going to join us for the second portion of this show. So I want to wrap up with a couple of interesting things from both of you guys. Brad, I know you got cut off a little bit. Did you want to share a poem with us tonight?
I can do that.
We ready.
I'm gonna this is honoring Nina Simone. We need her radical energy.
Yes,
we need her. We need that energy. Let it flow.
Sorry for my shaky hand. Y'all just, what can we do? Oh, hold on. Let me just see if I can get back on. It's a little bit easier. Okay. Who knows? Never mind. We ready? Y'all ready? Okay.
Yeah. So I can join. It looks like, let's see. We have.
Okay.
Want to do that?
Yes.
And then we can. Okay, cool.
Yep. Where you come from, Nina? Where do you come from? Nina Simone, in her own words, be the proof we was visited by aliens. Entered the stratosphere at the village gate. Her name is Peaches. Her parents, slaves. Witness the cosmic microwave background at the back of her throat. Contralto transceiver, space, bites, time, black, box, transpond, guttural, some death rattle. Holy Ghost, gravel, fine ground into Dion Warwick's coffee cream. One day I woke up and I could fly. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. How can you be a star and not reflect the times? Sea lion woman faces off Martin Luther King. El Nina Nephilim strapped wingspan on an Old Testament eye for an eye. Her dispatch is not non-violent. Righteous revolutions hook left, face down west, prostrate east towards Stokely, Hansberry, Garvey, Malcolm. Genius, broadcast, pitched, perfect traipse the earth's bipolar. Her delta, mercurial, as it is magnetic. Her fields is cotton, piano, and aurora. Leave Mr. Backlash with the blues. Metronome, resonate, ultraviolet, divine, feminine. Make Nina's aesthetic a hologram of classical black. Absolute black has a spectrum. Black, wrath, black gold, kundalini, transgender. She teleported into a den of smug ideas and elegant people and drove them all insane. They won't never know. The vertigo crucifix worn by our name one does not own. Where you come from, Nina? I come from a chemical imbalance. I am Nefertiti's alchemical reincarnation. My skin is black, my arms are long, my hair is like wool, my skin is yellow, my hair is straight and long, my hallucinations. Thought I was about to go on the laser beam with my husband, Andy. Each scream too human to be heard in a world few people understand. I am what I am. Don't belong here. Don't belong there. Sometimes at night these walls talk back to me. They seem to say, was it yesterday a better day? I seen God in Africa. Having as little to do with human beings as possible. In some weird way, I'm at peace. Sea lion woman dressed in green. Anunnakis with silk stockings with golden seams. Interstellar Orisha make my mission impossible. Go make the people curious, Nina, about where they come from. Go make the people curious, Nina, about where they come from. From the beginning.
Thank you. Amy, I'm gonna bring Amy in. Amy is snapping. She is feeling the vibes. She is feeling the vibes. We got snaps in the comments. Thank you so much for blessing us with that poem, that vibe, that energy. Thank you so much, Brad. That was awesome.
Yes, most definitely.
So, Chris, your work, I know every now and again you'll post, that you'll have prints for sale, but do you do commission pieces or, do you have some prints becoming available? I'm going to share your work on our platform too. So if people are interested in getting some of these cool pieces, let's how.
Yeah, I mostly just do personal stuff. Every now and then I'll create a piece and I know it's gonna be a hit with people, so I'll get prints of that. But I kind of try to stay away from prints. A lot of my collectors actually they like to be the only one with the piece, so they always ask like, "Do you have prints of that?" Exclusive. But I do commissions every now and then, depending on what it is. But I mostly everything you see in here is just something I felt one day and put it on the canvas.
That is just so amazing. Yeah. Niqua is going to be down in October for my birthday. She may come down during the summer. So is it okay if we connect with you and your wife and maybe come through and check out your studio?
Yes,
all right.
I love that. I love it. Yes. Because I'm like scoping. I'm still scoping.
Amy's like, I need some art back here behind me. Yeah, my elephant is from whoa, look at it.
Yes.
Oh, and tell us about your book that you did. I have actually 3 copies. I bought one for myself and gave 2 away. But tell us about the book you guys did.
Oh yeah, that was me and my oldest daughter, Cadence. So like in 2014, I think she was probably about 3 years old. She changed her name. So her name is Cadence, so she changed her name to Glenda one day. And we had never heard of that. We didn't know if it was from a cartoon or what. She wouldn't answer the Cadence. Even when we introduced her to people, she was like, "My name is Glenda." And so I had the idea to create a book about her natural hair and just the adventures she would go on playing outside and stuff. So we ended up calling the book Blonda's Hair. and I just wanted to I wanted to inspire
You see all that pretty
black
art?
people and even boys just to wear their natural hair and just to be proud of it and don't let anyone make you feel like you have to be a certain way or conform to societal standards and just be yourself and still be beautiful with the hair that naturally grows from you.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like that.
Yes, it's such a cute book. It's so bright. It's so yellow and beautiful brown girl on the front. So it's for our people. It's just so amazing.
You
Thank
might
you
have
so
a
much for
picture.
putting that out there. Do you still have copies available if people were interested in purchasing, or you guys sold out?
I have a few copies. I can always get more, but if people just want to contact me on my Instagram. The book also has an Instagram page as well. Trying to see if I have a picture. This one is on the front cover of the book. That's
Yep,
Oh,
that's Rhonda.
yeah,
See it. There
Oh, I
she
love
is.
it.
Isn't that adorable?
yes.
that's Rhonda.
Thank you so much for putting that out there. We're gonna share that. Um, Gosh, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Brad, did you want to give out one more message in regards to voting for the people of New York, the people, here in our country?
We have to vote. I also think that this is a moment where it makes me think of avatars, and the old avatars don't work. It's not enough to say, grandma had to die to get the right to vote, so you need to go out to vote.
Yeah.
These young people, this generation, they're in a whole new context, and I think we can do some work about visioning with them about what does voting mean in this context, And the other piece, is that implicitly voting is a coalition game. So obviously each person needs to do their part, but if we're gonna win, you have to be part of a coalition. And I think doing that kind of work might help folks find themselves in these newer moments. I'm this avatar voting. I'm not just doing something because someone told me to do it.
Right.
And the last thing I'll say is about this guy, this thing in the White House is a malignant narcissist. And I didn't know what that meant until around 4 or 5 years ago when I reconnected with the old high school friends. And they're in a whole other state in the Midwest. And I talked to them. Then I met his wife and we talked. And one day I called and he didn't answer. She answered. And in 20 minutes, the amount of torture and abuse that she shared that was going on in that house,
Wow.
I was trembling. So it made me realize, they were thinking he's depressed. I'm like, whatever this is, it's not depression, it's something else.
Right.
And, so that malignant narcissism, there's no bottom to it. It's never enough. So that's what this country is in, and so if there's 4 more years, there is no country.
Yeah. It's gonna be rough.
Rough. Yeah.
We need to vote.
We need to vote.
So, yeah.
I would like to continue working with you guys in some way, some fashion, to continue to get the word out as loud as we can. Maybe some small conversations, call to actions. I don't know. I want to just definitely keep in touch with y'all. What you've said tonight, both of you have been so powerful. And we need to do the work. We only have a few months left, and we have got to get these kids out and voting.
Yes.
So get them registered and get them voting. So, and get them proud to vote, because that's another thing. We've kind of lost pride in even being an American. You know, I'm super patriotic. If the national anthem start playing, I'm crying. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now I'm like, what's going on? So we need to just get that pride and that, everybody on board with America again. So thank y'all so much for being on with us tonight. We're gonna jump off with y'all and continue with Amy, but you guys have a wonderful night, and we'll be in touch with both of you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brad.
Yes.
Thank you. Hi, Amy.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm well. Thank you.
Good. We are so ready to talk to you.
Yes.
Yay.
I'm getting my paper ready. I got so many. We got all our little questions live.
Okay, let's go. Shoot them to me.
Good. Man, so are you originally from Richmond?
Yes, that's what I was gonna ask.
I am. So I was born in Washington, D.C. And actually my biological mother put me up for adoption. I was adopted by a family in Richmond. And so I've been here ever since I was a wee little girl. Went to school here and have been here ever since. I did a little stint in the military and some work up in Northern Virginia for the Army, but I have been here pretty much all my life.
Well, that's awesome. That's dope. Mm-hmm. So you had put in a lot of working in the community and doing things. And I just want to read. I had saw the article that you did at the Richmond magazine, and there was something here that I like that you had mentioned, because this is something I think we're lacking as a culture. Mm-hmm. You said, what I'm really focused on is the truly spreading wealth distribution and spreading economic support, especially to the 8th district, which has been lacking in that support for decades, which you are so right. I mean, I feel like, I'm not originally from Richmond. I'm originally from New York, but I moved down here in the 90s. And I was here, and I live in Henrico County currently, but I feel like as a whole, Virginia, we need to stick together and we need to support, even if you don't live in that district, but you still break bread with people in that district. So you want to support those people who are those candidates that are going to do well for everyone, and economic is something that we need help with. I think as a group, because we need to be educated on it, not to say that we're not smart. It's just that there's certain things that I think that we can educate our culture, because what I'm seeing happening in Richmond is they're trying to take over and take from us. And we're living right there. You know what I mean? It's like, how are you going to push us out? But we got to be smart. So what is some of, and speaking a little bit about the article and what you're doing for the community, if you could just speak a little bit about that and the heart that you have that you're putting back in.
Yeah, of course. Well, you all, you being from Henrico, that, sometimes we work as a region, right? Mm-hmm. And if Richmond is strong and all 9 parts of Richmond are strong, then it helps Henrico and helps Chesterfield, helps our region as a whole. Mm-hmm. So we just need to make sure that we are including all areas and that all areas are thriving. And if you are familiar with my area, the 8th district sits in the southern part of Richmond. So we are bordered by Jefferson Davis Highway, which I refer to it as Route 1. There's a push to get the name changed for that that corridor now. Other parts of Virginia, Alexandria, Arlington have already done the work to rename their portion of the street. So that's Route 1 stretches all the way through the state. And then we have Hull Street Road, Broad Rock, Walmsley, like those are our corridors. So unfortunately, it's just not equitable when it comes to our parks and our schools and our access, our infrastructure. And so I've kind of focused my campaign trying to think of things holistically. They say to you, okay, pick 3 points and put them out there as your 3 main focuses. And I was talking to my campaign team and I'm like, I can't just limit it to 3 because there's so many things. Exactly. And so what I did was I created a platform that was focused on 6 key areas. And those areas spell out the word AID, because one of the things I'm really big on is making sure, just like you all said earlier, is that people are educated in a way that makes it plain for them to understand. We don't have to overcomplicate things. Mm-hmm. So I put out, like on my first piece of literature, you see the 8th here, education, infrastructure, growth, housing, transportation, and health and safety. And so what I'm trying to do is show folks the intersections on where those topics meet. So for instance, we just did a town hall on infrastructure, and talking about our roads and our sidewalks, right? And how that affects transportation and public transportation access and people's ability to walk and bike to the bus stop. And then that also transitions into housing, because a lot of times in our area, there's not a lot of access to public transportation. Mm-hmm. Folks make a commitment and prioritize purchasing a car for their family, which brings along an extra set of expenses that we know come with having a car. So, all of those things kind of intersect together, because you're going to work in your car because you know that you need to have your housing. So they all match, they all coincide. And so I just wanted to make sure that we're touching on everything and looking at it from a holistic approach, so that we can really touch and enhance the quality of life of people in a big way.
I love that. And I love how it's broken down and it's made easy. You may have a doctor or a teacher or a lawyer or a bus driver or a lunch lady, and we all have our special talents, but right now we need to all kind of step in. It's our duty to take these side notes, that you guys are giving us from the community, so that we can put our leadership in place to make our communities better. So we may not know, it may not be our professional, something that we've studied, or even, our goal or our passion, but it's something that we need to know and be aware of, so that we can do our duty as citizens of our specific community. Thanks for letting us know where the 8th district is. I'm very familiar with that district. I live in Florida right now, but I did live on the south side. I went to Manchester. I actually graduated from Manchester. So that whole back area of Richmond, I'm super familiar with it. I know the work that can, be done. I saw that you just recently posted about Jeff Davis Highway, and I started screaming. I'm like, oh my God! Like, I grew up saying Jeff Davis.
It's been a long time coming. It's been a long time
coming. I lived in Chester, and my grandmother lived in Richmond. My mother was from Richmond, so we would drive that Jeff Davis, up and down, and just knowing the type of man he was, and it was just like second nature just to say that out loud, and that energy needs to cease. We need to come up with something better to reign.
And it's almost like an elephant in the room, right? And then, you have a lot of folks that are just, they get attached to names. And when you start talking about changing something, it's like they get nervous about it. Like, why are we changing the name? Some people don't even understand the significance and of the name. And so they're kind of just like, well, let's not spend our tax dollars on changing a name when we can spend it on other things. But what I've done when I explain it to folks that kind of take that take, is I just talk about, okay, so we have these called living room listens. Well, not since coronavirus hit, but before that, we would have living room listens where folks would just get together and they would just talk to me about some of the things that they wanted to see along that corridor. And so as they were telling me, oh, we want jobs, but we don't just want jobs. We want jobs that are committed to paying livable wages. We want jobs that are committed to giving great benefits and and I'm like, okay, so it seems like you want progressive companies to come down here and on this corridor. Yeah. What progressive company do you know that's going to come and settle on a Jefferson Davis Highway? So if we really want to bring in that development, bring in the resources that we need, we really have to think about changing that name in order to attract those businesses that we want to be.
That's such a great point. Wow, you broke it all the way down.
All the way down. But for them to understand, because it seems like they are, like you said, they're just so set in their mind. And I think especially here in Virginia, what they call old money, where there's a lot of people who are still in position that should retire.
Talk about it. Yeah, talk about it.
And it's making it hard to be progressive. I mean, Virginia is ready. Virginia is Been ready.
And as we see lately, with the acts that have transpired after the murder of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, you can see that peak happening right here in the capital city. And I feel like we need to take advantage of this moment right now.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so you all know, if you're familiar with the area, you know that I'm going up against an 18-year incumbent who's been in that seat for a long time.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people who love her. And that's great, but it's time for us to get some, we really desperately need some change over here. And I'm hoping to be that change.
Wow. She's been there for 18 years. My daughter's 21. I had my daughter in Birmingham Hospital. We used to drive up and down these, I know the area, I know what it looks like then, and I know what it looks like now.
And it's right. It's been it's been a steady decline. And I think that's, that might be one of my approaches. It's like, let's just show what it looked like 18 years ago and what it looks like now. What I envisioned that it could look like, and hopefully
definitely
some people.
I mean, it's definitely a time for change.
Yeah, I hate to keep going back to the Jeff Davis thing, but this is kind of how I want to dissect the conversation with you, because some of us don't know what we can do. Like, we have a lot of opinion, we understand, but we don't know how to get started. So with just changing the name of that specific highway, how do we need to do that?
So I'll give you a little bit of history real quickly. In the Commonwealth of Virginia, there is what's called the Dillon Rule, which means that localities, it's very strict on what exactly localities can change, cities or counties can change on their own. A lot of times they have to run things through the General Assembly. And fortunately, a law was passed that allowed cities to be able to change the name of their highways as long as, they have the votes on council. So in order to change the name, you would need 5 votes on council. There is a community engagement process that happens before that council process happens, which I'm a big supporter of. Community engagement is important, which is why you saw that Facebook post where we got, I think, 177 people chimed in on think that the new name should be.
Yeah.
So, and that involves going to the civic associations in the area. Shout out to them. We have some amazing civic associations, getting their input. Also talking to our youth. A lot of times we don't center our youth in these conversations. So just making sure youth are informed and youth know what's happening, what's going on. So there's an engagement process that happens, and then a council member would have to submit a paper. Usually it's the council member who that area of the district that street lies in, which would be my district. So super excited about that, hoping that our current council person just does the right thing before I can get in there. But if not, I will get the job done.
That sounds good. That sounds perfect.
Yes. And so you talk about the kids getting involved. I'm seeing that they are very much wanting to get involved. Like, I'm seeing that they're fearless, especially with the whole Robert E. Lee. Those who don't know, Richmond they made national news with the Robert E. Lee statue. And there were so many people that came out. But what I noticed was it was a mixture of people that came out, which was really important, because we do have to have those allies. Would you agree to that?
Yes, yeah, of course. I think the more people that get on the same page towards what we know is the right thing to do, the better. I think with the Robert E. Lee statue, so that's another thing that's weird about the Commonwealth and weird about the city of Richmond. The Robert E. Lee statue is actually a state-owned property, and the other statues along Monument Avenue belong to the city. So if you notice, I think Governor Northam had declared that he was going to go ahead and remove the monument. There's currently an injunction that has happened where they had a 10-day injunction, and then I think now it's been extended indefinitely, but the next court date, I believe, is the 23rd of July, if I'm not mistaken, where they have taken it to court. So there's members of actually homeowners, property owners on that avenue that are advocating against the removal, and some other entities. But the city does control the others. So I believe Councilman Michael Jones as well as Mayor Stoney have put in a co-patron paper to allow for the removal, and I believe it is going to be heard pretty soon. So
Okay.
super excited to see that happen. And as you've seen, there are a lot of people that just aren't waiting. So it's like, we've been asking for a long time. We had the Monument Avenue Commission, the Monument Commission, where they kind of explored what to do. People are just tired of waiting at this point. You see what has happened now is turned into a work of art down there, and a destination for people to come and take a look. And I went out there. I know Trey Songz had his. It was Black Lives Matter weekend. Yes. And they were out there cooking now. I saw somebody brought a futon out there. I was like, they have reclaimed the space, and they actually renamed it for, I'm not sure if you all know about the story of Marcus David Peters, but he was a member of our community, actually an educator who experienced a mental health crisis and unfortunately was killed by a police officer here in the city of Richmond. And so they have kind of reclaimed that space and renamed it after him in honor and memory of him. Mm-hmm. So it's just it's a beauty to see. But we have some other challenges here as well, and we'll see how it plays out.
Right. Well, I've definitely been inspired by the movement, rallying around the statue. But realistically, I do know that there's a lot of work, and it does not stop right there in that part. And we just need to keep that energy flowing, and keep the knowledge moving through everybody, so that everybody continue to fight.
Mm-hmm. Right, because a lot of the people, when we were out there, I was talking to a lot of the younger folks that were out there protesting, and I was like, you all realize that we have tried to do this 3 times, and 3 times it was voted down, and actually twice, and then the 3rd time I believe it finally, maybe it was 3 and 4. Anyways, it came up before a few times, and actually our current representative that represents my district actually voted against it. But you see what happens with the power of the people. Now all 9 council members are on record of saying, yes, we're ready for it to go. And that's huge. That's a direct reflection of the people saying this is what we want.
Yes. And I was happy about that, because when Arthur Ashe, when we try to get the statue down there,
talk about it in the 90s. Yeah, talk about it. Shout out to Chuck Richardson. Yeah.
They were in an uproar. They could, they fought tooth and nail. And we got it up there. We got it up there, but it's just the point of what we had to do, and it's just, it was a lot. So I do understand. And I feel like, we need to support. We really need to continue to stick together here in Virginia and support all districts, specifically the 8th district. We gotta get that person out of there. I'm so sorry, but we gotta get her out. We gotta get Amy in.
Thank you. Because, so that brings me to another point. There are 8,000 people in my district right now that are either not registered to vote or that are inactive voters. Over 8,000. Wow. And looking at the data, the current representative wins by between 5,000 and 6,700. She gets between 5,000 and 6,700 votes each election. If you have 8,000 people, that aren't participating, that's the election right there. Even if every single one of her previous voters votes for her, if those folks, register to vote and really become active, then that can decide an election. And one of the things that, I hear the arguments about folks saying that your vote doesn't matter. But I ask I always push back. I'm like, okay, so where does your child go to school? Oh, okay. Well, do you know that the person who is deciding, who's making decisions for your school district is your school board member? And if you're not voting for that person, they could be doing all types of stuff that you wouldn't even know is happening. Exactly. Or city council, they're the ones that approve the budget. So if the community center near you doesn't have the programs and the resources that it should have, or if the pool has been inactive for 3 years and that's because the people who are in place are not prioritizing the things that you need. And so you need to make sure you get folks in place that are going to listen to your voice. And so absolutely matters. And if no one, like, if for all other reasons the judiciary is important, just making sure that we know what judges are in place, because even if all of our elected officials are a certain way, they're the ones that get to decide who these judges are. And so want to know about who's supporting the injunction, for the monument, like who's the judge, who elected the judge, who did we elect in that spot that brought the judge in. So it all ties in together.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I want to just make a point and bring attention to registering to vote. We have a lot of people that maybe have been, in the system, as far as like, in prison or, whatever the case may be. Don't let your situation from the past determine where you're going in the future. You may still be eligible to vote, amongst other things, but just register. I didn't know that I would be walking around with my cell phone asking people, are they registered, and literally registering them to vote when
right there on the phone. That's right.
Like I register them and then I send to their text message how they can check to make sure that they registered. I tell them you're going to get a card in the mail. Like, I don't know, like I should be getting paid for this. Like it's my new like part-time job. But you guys, it only takes like 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes to register to vote. And then within like 2 days, you have
you have it there. It's so easy. And let me just say this too. I'm going to shout out No Left Turns here in the city of Richmond. If you have an issue where you're wondering if about rights restoration and whether you need to get your rights restored, you contact No Left Turns. They will walk you through the process. They're doing all types of great work with voter registration. Also, they're pushing for the automatic rights restoration too. So that way you don't have to actually apply to get them restored. Once you've completed your time, they're working to make sure that you can get an automatic rights restoral. So if you need help, if you're wondering, if you need to vote, or even if you just want to register to vote, they will help you with that too. But yes, there are organizations out here working to make sure that everybody's vote is everybody who wants to vote can vote.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Please don't let fear hold you back. Don't let, because sometimes people are like, well, it could be all kinds of things. I remember I lived in Florida, a couple of years ago, and they were trying to turn people away, determining people like, oh, if you don't have this, if you don't have that. It was so bad that they got on the radio and was like, whatever they tell you, stay in line. They're just trying to deter you.
I did a voter registration drive for National Voter Registration Day last year, and over at the Hops and Laws, if y'all are familiar with Hops and Laws. And one of the, there was a lot of people who were just like, no, I don't want to put my social security number on that paper, or I don't want to, I don't want them to know where I live and things like that. And we talked to a few people who, who just had a lot of fear. And then a lot of them too, you got to have leadership in place that's going to give you a reason to even want to vote, right?
Yep.
Like what, if they don't see their reality changing them around them, like if they don't see things happening around them that inspire them to want to vote or want to make change happen, I can understand how somebody would sit and say, well, look, nothing good is happening to me over here, so why should I do it? So that's what I'm trying to instill and bring. Like, I want to be the representative that really works to enhance the quality of life of every single resident in my area, whether that is just access to a new park, whether that is new computers in a school, whether that is, making sure that the bus frequency is instead of having to wait every hour, you can get your bus every 30 minutes. So if you miss that bus, you don't have to sit out there in the hot sun for another 50 minutes waiting for the next bus. Whatever that looks like, I want to make sure that after my term is complete, that everyone in my district can say, you know what, I experienced some type of enhancement of my life because this person was in office. And honestly, if that's not your goal when you're running, you probably shouldn't be running.
Yeah, thank you so much. That sounds so wonderful.
Yeah.
When you talk, I just envision that area,
It's like
and
a good picture, a very good picture. Yes.
And I had I had a and it's about like reimagining too, right? So I'm just saying, so I'm doing these virtual town halls, and because of coronavirus, I'm not able to do a town hall in the community centers and things like that. And so people can hear what I have to say. But one of the things I will say is, my education town hall, I think we're up to like 4,200 people who watch that. And the infrastructure one, about 2,200 people. So folks want to see it. And there's no way I would have packed out the Hobson Lodge with 2,200 people. So I'm definitely thankful that I'm able to use the internet in a way. We're still going to do in-person, person-to-person contacts once we enter into phase 3 and hopefully transition out of that phase as well. But in the town hall, I've been having my district members focus on how we reimagine spaces, right? A lot of times, we wait until a developer comes in, gives us their vision of what they think something should look like. But we as the community, we have a lot of ideas. There's so much creativity just in the community members. There's so many people who have lived here for decades who remember the history of how things have been, and they can offer great perspective to how, the way forward. It doesn't always have to be, a developer coming into our space. And in that way, we have the vision, and we can share that with the development community and say, hey, listen, this is what we're envisioning. We want someone to come in here that, everybody wants to make money. We understand that. But somebody that's going to help us change it with us and not for us. And so that's my goal, creating partnerships, with the development community so that they can understand that it's not that the 8th district is against development. Of course, we want to have additional resources and things come in here that will, enhance our area. But we just want to make sure that it's with people, because we've had predators that have come in before, that weren't really about, ensuring the community voice was at the forefront. But like, for instance, on my infrastructure town hall, I showed a drainage ditch. It's like a drainage ditch that's been in our district for a long time. It's super overgrown. I'm not even sure the liquid that's in there. It's probably, I probably should, let me write that down. Adrian, if you're watching, water tested. But just reimagining how that space could look, we don't have millions of dollars for sidewalks in our areas, right? But I spoke to Deron Chavis from the Resilience Gardens, who talked about other earthly matters that they use to create, sidewalks. So it's like, we can do things and partner with organizations that are already out here doing the work to really create and bring about some change in the 8th district without it having to cost, a whole lot. And then just using the ideas that community members already have so that it helps you on the front end. You don't have to pay consultants and all that stuff. And we have beautiful ideas that come from 8th district residents.
And there's people that live in the community that can work in the community as well. There's people that can pretty much develop the community they live in. It's
Absolutely. There's no reason. Shout out to Brown's Lawn and Order. I believe it was Hillside. He grew up in Hillside Projects. And now he is the landscape artist for that community and other communities. You know what I mean? Like, that right there is that's where I'm trying to go. I'm trying to ensure that the 8th district is a viable option that people, right now, you ask folks when they're moving to Richmond or if they're in other areas, like, hey, you want to move to the 8th, and they're just kind of like, I don't know. Yeah. People are like, you know what? The 8th district is where it's at. Some of the ideas that I had, that I've been talking to my district members about are a welcome to the 8th district, guidebook or, handbook. So when folks get here, you have a listing of all of our businesses that are in the 8th district, so that when you need goods, you need to go to the hardware store. Instead of going to some of the big box chains, you're going down the street to the hardware store. Or if you want to get, one of the best empanadas, in the city, that you're not going to another place, that you're going right down here on Walmsley Boulevard, et cetera, et cetera. So having a business guide that talks about what we have to offer in the district, tells you as a neighbor, like, what's expected of you. So a lot of times I move into my home. I was so excited to move here, but I never got anything that said, like, here, you're a homeowner now. These are the things that you need to be responsible for. A lot of people don't know that there's a section of the sidewalk. Like, if you have a sidewalk in front of your home and there's grass on the other side. A lot of people don't know who's responsible for maintaining that. So you might see a lot of tall grass in areas where if the homeowner just knew that, hey, or the property owner just knew, hey, that's your responsibility, they would do it. So that's one of the things I want to do, is just do a welcome kit for every district member, and even members who have been here for a long time. Like, let's just get reacquainted with the 8th district, so that we can support each other. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all ask questions. Sorry,
No,
I'm
but I love it. I love it.
I love it. Oh my God. So I'm trying to imagine.
There was one other thing I wanted to talk about. Oh, my budget report. So
Yes.
who likes paying taxes? Like, raise your hand. Taxes. Nobody, right? But one of the things that I've, as a, we pay the meals tax, we pay this tax, that tax, the real estate tax, personal property tax. But has anybody ever told you, like, you paid $3,200 in taxes this year? This is where your tax dollars went, right? One of the things that we do is do a budget completion report at the end of the year, every year, to say to homeowners, you pay this amount of, and this amount of taxes. You also helped with the tax base by eating meals and doing this, and purchasing gas, and all the ways that you get taxes, you pay taxes. But the thing I want to show them is like, but because of that, we thank you, because we were able to get a new stop sign on this street. We were able to get new air conditioning units in this school. We were able to put in new playground equipment in this park. We were able to clean up certain areas at, green spaces. We're able to, just help with the eviction program, so that 25 people weren't able to, didn't have to be evicted from their homes. If you see that, you might say, okay, taxes, like,
yes. You would feel pride. You would feel like a citizen.
And even if I don't do anything else, the fact that I know now,
yes,
is changing because of my tax dollars. So I think that people would look at paying taxes in a different way. Not saying that, people are going to be excited about paying taxes, but at least when you know where your money is going,
yes,
you're more apt to be, involved in, and see how your city is
come out anyway. So you might as well know where it's going and feel a sense of surprise.
Exactly.
And like I'm a visual person, so for me that's excellent, because I can physically see where it's going, and then it's not, and I'm like, okay, well, when I'm paying, you're paying it, you're like, well, it's going to where it's supposed to go.
And when you're driving past that school and you see that plate, you're like, I did that.
I'm just imagining if your kids are in the car and how it just, the gift goes on and you just pass that information down to them. They start to understand and, feel the pride as well. That's me. I would be like, okay, so this is my tax thing I got back, and it went to this and this and this. And my kids would be looking at me and be like, okay, but at least they would know,
Exactly.
So that's one of my campaign. I have a few campaign promises. They tell you don't promise a lot, but that's something that I know that I can do. And I want to do. And then we also have a really large Latino population here in the 8th district. It has grown tremendously over the last 10 years. And right now, I don't see, the city has an Office of Multicultural Affairs, and they're doing amazing work. But I really feel like they need an ally on council, a district that represents a large majority of them. And so I am definitely committed to making sure we are including their voices in conversations. We want to see Latino people on our boards and commissions to speak for their community members. We have a lot of changes when it comes to that as well. There's a lot of exciting legislation, that came out this year regarding driver's licenses and things like that. But I also want to make sure that I'm a representative for all 8 district members, not just the Porters, because I think that's what's happened with our current leadership, is that, you tend to start catering to the people who support you. And unfortunately, that's just not going to cut it. Like, you're going to have to be a leader for everyone in the district. And so, and that includes our Latino population. That includes our teens, that includes our young adults that might be still trying to figure out where they want to go in life. And so that's one of the things that I'm proposing too, is more programming for that to like 23-year-old age. It's like they're 18 years old. We're just dropping them out like, oh, there's no programming. Like, no, like let's get some, maybe some career focused, there's a program that y'all know DJ Lonnie B. Shout out to Lonnie if you're familiar with Lonnie. And Gary Callis and I have been sitting down talking about creating a program called The Hustle. And, because Lonnie had DJing, there's other folks that have photography. There's other folks that do graphic design, but just always having a second thing that you can do just in case your first thing doesn't serve you anymore. So,
a service, a skill that you have with your hands. A lot of us that were into that 8th district was very popular in the 90s for us musical artists. We were in and out of that area. It was a record store in that area. We were in and out of.
Shout out to Willie's Records.
Willie's on the corner. I mean, that was like the spot, man. That was like, oh man.
That was the question. I had
a nail salon across the street. We used to get our nails in there. My grandmother's church is a Seventh-day Adventist church in that area as well. There's a park across from that we used to carry empty jugs and get spring water from that spring over there. As you were speaking, I know that area is near and dear to us. We were in Chesterfield. We may have been further in Richmond, but we frequented that area because of the stores, that were there, the businesses that were there. So we need to bring it back and get it. And I challenge all of you guys, all of you musicians up there in Richmond to get involved with Amy and start helping reimagine that space in that area.
Southside Plaza.
Sure. Southside Plaza was now, and it was a movie theater. It used to be an outdoor movie theater back. That may have been the 80s. Back behind it, So it was just such a vibrant space, and it definitely has potential and can definitely be.
It can be again. It can be again.
Yes, it can. Also, I just want to throw this out there as an idea. That Hall Street area is the perfect place for parades. You got the Black schools there with the city, with the bands. You got the Latino community. The Latino community love a parade and festivities and getting it.
They do parades too. They do parades. And if you're familiar with the Blackwell area, back in the day, I was doing research when we had a fiasco. I'm not even gonna get into that, where somebody tried to come into the community and do some things. But when I was doing some research, they used to have a yearly parade in Blackwell every year. Back in the day, like in the 50s, in the 40s and 50s. So definitely want to bring back all the things to the 8th district. I mean, you think about festivals, people talk about 2 Street Folk Fest, and all the festivals that happen around town. What do we have in the 8th district? So another idea I have with some other community members to do a Black and Brown festival where we're exploring our differences, but we're also celebrating our likenesses, because a lot of times if you think about like the foods of the diaspora and like Caribbean foods and Latino foods, Hispanic foods, I don't know what the proper term is. Forgive me if I don't say the proper term, but the foods, like you can order plantains up here at Bachata, but you can also order plantains at the Jamaican restaurant. Like let's explore the things that we have in common. Just imagine seeing the Latin ballet with Alegba Folklore Society, African dance.
Yeah.
Just a collage, a mashup with DJ Lonnie B and then DJ Jose, like showing our likes and differences and bringing those communities. I want to be a bridge builder. Like we really need to bring our communities together instead of operating in silos, and just celebrating the culture, celebrating what everyone has to offer to the Richmond area, no matter where they come from and no matter who they are. That's the type of person that and the type of representative that I'm trying to be.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The name of our show is Mommas with Commas. Let's talk a little bit about your motherhood journey and how you are still able to run for an office and be a mommy at the same time.
So y'all saw my baby come up here. Yeah. So I have a 21-year-old Jasmine. She graduated from Richmond Public Schools. She actually is about to graduate from VCU.
Congratulations, Mama.
Yes, yes.
Congratulations.
And she has been out there at the protests daily, reporting on the front lines. And then I have my 5-year-old, little Zoe Land, who was you just saw. And she is a kindergartner about to be going to first grade over at J.L. Francis Elementary School. I'll just say they have been doing community work with me since they were, babies. I mean, like my daughter Jasmine, I was so excited when she went to VCU and told me that she was a part of their leadership program there called Aspire. And it was something she did on her own. Like she wanted to do the community engagement. And so one of the things that she's told me is that for work and working with the kids in RPS, because that was part of their community service, that now she wants to work for RPS. So it's like, seeing that transition and seeing the love for community. And then same thing with my daughter. My daughter Zoe, she's like, Mommy, why do we gotta go to a meeting? We're always at a district meeting. And I don't know if you're familiar with our district meetings are at the satellite. So she's like, Mama, I'm not here in the daggone satellite, right? Her little tablet, but we're at meetings and I make sure that I take her when we feed our brothers and sisters that don't have homes and our other communities, just the community work that we do, she's front and center. And so it was a decision. It was hard because I was like, I don't want to pull away from, always be, away from the things that they need me to be there for. But I think that's when we, as Mamas with Commas, change how legislators are, right? Like it's time for people like us that are experiencing life as it happens to be shaping policy around people like us, right?
Yeah.
So it's okay. It's all right. I was just like, you know what? Who better than me? Someone who has experienced Richmond as a mom and as a student and as a teen, as a young adult, as an adult, as a renter who got evicted from her first apartment in San Susie to now owning a home in the same area. Like, who better? So who better? So I had to talk myself. And anybody out there thinking about running for office, you got to talk yourself out of it. And I was talking to my campaign manager. I don't know if you're familiar with Adrian, but she's my campaign manager. And we were going off over all the skeletons, because that's the first thing. You got to just get the skeletons out there.
Get
I'm like,
all out.
I didn't pay this ticket on this time and I didn't do this. And after we going through the list, she's just like, girl, if that's all you got, what are you worried about?
You're squeaky clean.
But you worry about those things coming out in the paper and your family is disappointed and your friends are all like, ooh. But I'm just like, listen, look at me. If you are thinking about running for office, just do it because we need people with your experience. We need people who have gone through those trials and tribulations. We need people who, it's tough for them to pay a bill or it's tough for them to, they might have gotten a ticket we need you. We need your experience because you've been through those processes. You've been through court. You've been through whatever it is that you've been through. That's who we want shaping policy for us. So just do it.
Right.
I love it. Thank you so much for saying that. We had a Father's Day show the Friday before Father's Day. And one of the dads, AKA my brother, he was like, I'm kind of wanting to get into, being someone running for some sort of an office, whether it be county, city, state, whatever. But we don't really know what to do. And I wanted to kind of challenge myself to figure that out. And I'm so happy that you were available to meet with us tonight because in researching, one of the to-dos is to, get familiar with the folks that are running, the folks that are in office, people that are in align with what you think and what you see, for either your community or their community, and just have those conversations and just start lining yourself up and talking to those people and getting involved. So, so this is the first step. What would you say after making those connections, or what other things would a person need to do if they wanted to run for an office?
So my perspective has changed now that I'm in it. Like before, I would have had a list of things, but like that you got to check off. But the more and more I'm in it, and the more I see the current representation that represents us, the more and more I'm like, all of that stuff. Like if you have a heart and you have a passion for the people, and you have a vision for your area, or a vision that resonates with a lot of people that that you talk to, just go for it. One of the first things I did was talk to my support system, and just how it would affect them. And then once they kind of gave me the okay, and I talked to some of my close friends, my business partners, Kelly Lemon and Shamika Bowen. Shout out to Richmond Black Restaurant Experience. That's another movement here in the city of Richmond that I was definitely super happy to be a part of. But once I, talked to some of those folks and shared with them my vision and the things that I wanted to do. I have a really good friend, Candace Carter. I used to always be like, oh, well, I don't know if I could, maybe in 4 years, maybe in 8 years, it's never going to be the right time. If you have a heart and it's something that's keeping you up at night, go for it. I'll say you need a good 5 people that are going to be down for you no matter what. And I'm so thankful to have those people around me that if I call them and say, hey, look, I need somebody to research this thing right quick, or if I need, they're there for me. You want to have a group of. If you don't have anybody that's kind of cheerleading you, then that's you want to build some relationships first. The other thing is get involved in just start paying attention to it, depending on what you want to run. I started paying attention to city council meetings, school board meetings about 10 years ago. So I just started going home, watching them on TV. Some of them in Richmond City, it's sometimes comedy, to turn it on and listen to the banner back and forth. But I started watching. Everybody would know on Mondays, what you doing? Oh, I'm watching city council. I would be in there watching city council, watching school board. So start just familiarizing yourself with that. The other thing, I do this class called City Civics, where I help educate people about the roles of, because a lot of times it's easy to like blame the mayor or blame, your city council person, or blame your school superintendent or your school board member. But a lot of folks just don't know whose role is what.
Right.
So the class kind of breaks down city government in Richmond, because city government in Richmond is different than Tallahassee or wherever you all are living. It's different in each city, how it works. Saying like how to direct, if you have an issue with a certain problem, sometimes the best bet, instead of calling the mayor's office, is to actually call that department, that handles that particular thing. So just make sure that people understand. But again, that goes back to that welcome to the 8th district citizen guide that tells you, who to call when you have certain things going wrong, who to funnel your complaints with. But yeah, so just getting acclimated with the civic, how your city or your state works. The other thing is, let me see. So I said, check with your people, watch the meetings, and try to get acclimated with how city civics works in your area, or county civics or whatever. And then just go for it. You need a little money. Depending on where you need a creative way to get money. And we did this thing called 8 things on the 8th. So it's like $8, right? $8 on the 8th.
I love that.
I give people on the 8th of the month, send me your $8. It's something that's affordable. Even through a pandemic or a crisis, people can give you $8, but those $8 add up. And I'm like at $30,000 now. I mean, that's huge. So
that's awesome.
Find a way to be able to fundraise a little bit, and then just be able to communicate your vision effectively to a mass of people. Like I said, making it plain, making it understandable. Don't overcomplicate things, and just go for it. And call me if you need help.
Thank you so much. Where can the people find the class, the City Civics class? Is it on your website?
No, so it's I give it. So if you want it, well, in the next 5 months, I'm not going to be giving no class. So just so you know, I'm all in for the campaign. But after that, folks can just email me or contact me, and I'll give it. It's no problem. It's like a, slide presentation. And we have a series of exercises that tells folks, for instance, we do this thing called an action plan. So you go through the class, you break up into groups, and then we're going to give you something like, hey, there's speeding happening on your street. What can you do? Create an action plan. And so the kids are like, oh, you know what? We're going to go to our civic association first and see if we can get people to sign a petition. And then we're going to go to our city council person, and then we're going to tell them we want traffic calming measures. And then we're going to go to Art City, shout out to Art City, All City Art Club, and get them to paint a mural on the street that will help people to slow down and look, as they're driving up and down the street. Or we're going to do a traffic study. So it's like we do the class to show folks how the city works, and then we give them some type of scenario where they have to figure out how they're going to fix that problem.
That is amazing.
Yes.
After the 5 months, I would love to get together with you and try to rally people to attend this, because I think no matter where they are, they can at least get inspired, by attending, and then go back into their area and figure out how their specific area works. Shanika, did you have any other questions? I have a couple more.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. What time is it? 9:30. I hope your people are okay with us being on this long. It's all good, though.
I just wanted to add, and then you can ask your question. I just want to say knowledge is key. And I like the fact that you are willing to, give that information out, because I know that a lot of, just even with me, for example, we didn't really learn that as far as how it works when you vote, and where you should really look at your local, support your local council and things of that nature. And it's important to go to, education meetings and, all of these different things. It was just kind of like, no, you go to work, you come home, you kind of thing, make sure you take care of your household and your family, and not really be involved unless, like my children, I have 2 older children that they're in college now, but my son, he played rec football, sports in Henrico County. So that's how I got involved more. And because I was out there with him constantly. And, as your child participated, you want to be there and make sure that things are getting done a certain way. Your kid is involved, you want to be involved. So I think it's important that if you teach them young, they'll want to be involved. And they won't be so afraid of like, no, I don't want to get into politics. Because people think politics are like, I don't deal.
And two, it's important too to remember that everybody's meant to not to do. I tell them, we have a big activist community here. A lot of folks doing mentoring, all these things. Everybody is not meant to do everything, right? You don't want everybody mentoring kids, because some people can't handle kids.
Right.
I don't want everybody working with the homeless, because folks, you have to have patience. You have to have a sense of, a desire, right? So sometimes just being a great parent to your children is what we need you to do, or being a great neighbor to your elderly neighbor, making sure that they get their trash back and forth, or making sure that they get the items that they need in situations that are emergencies. Like advocacy and getting involved comes in so many different layers. Right. I tell people when they ask me to speak about volunteerism and things like that, is like, find that thing that you already like to do. My girlfriend Sheba, she's a beautician, and so she does haircuts for the community when they get good grades or things like that. So it's like you're taking your passion and you're giving back in a way. Everybody doesn't have to feed the homeless,
right.
Whatever it is that you're good at. If you're good at taxes, then you might pick 10 people during tax time and do their taxes for them. Like everybody, there's a way that everybody can give back. That doesn't mean that they have to like spend go outside of their comfort zone. And sometimes it's okay to just be a good parent to your kids, or it's okay.
Yeah.
But what was your question?
You were going
to ask the question and I cut you off.
We that kind of leads right into the question. So you have a lot of supporters already. They're watching tonight. We're gonna chop up the conversation and continue to spread the word. But if someone wants to support you, you say you have 5 months, and I know 5 months kind of sounds like a long time, but 5 months is 5 months. It's gonna be gone. What can we do to support you during these next 5 months? We're on your side. What do you need from us as a community?
Yeah. So there are a few things. So number one, my website, www.amyintheeighth.com. Amy in the number 8th.com. There is a section there that where you can donate, right? Because so far, I think my representative has about $20,000 more than me. I need to get to her level, right? So that's the first way that you can do. Give me your dollars, your coins. Is if you don't have, if you don't want to give money, there is a Join the A-Team link on the same website. And when you click on the Join the A-Team link, there's 6 teams that you can check to be a part of. And one of them is dealing with people don't want to do door-to-door knocking and canvassing and things like that. You can make phone calls, and there's a script. It's all virtual. So it comes up, the script is right there in front of you. You call the person and you say, hello, Nika, this is, I'm whatever, representing Amy and Amy Wentz, who's running for city council. And it tells you everything that it has all my priorities. It has everything on there so that if you need to, refer to something, you can do that. So joining the A-Team is another way. The other thing is you don't live here or don't live in the A district. A lot of people that I went to school with, they're just like, oh, well, I don't live over there. There's people on your social media pages that do live over here. So share my stuff, share my message. If I'm putting out a video, just simply share it on your page, because there might be somebody in the district that is friends with you that's not friends with me, that can see that. Prayer is always something that I need. As we get closer to the election day, prayer is something that I definitely need. Words of encouragement, just, it gets lonely, when because you don't know who to talk to, you're kind of just like, I don't want to say this, or if I get caught saying something that's not politically correct, so you just kind of find yourself in a bubble. So words of encouragement are always great. Let me see, sharing the message, money, Delegate Bagby, Lamont Bagby always says, have your ask ready. And every time somebody asks me that, I'm always, so donate, share the message, join the A-Team, and just positive. Oh, if you hear somebody say something about me that is not true, correct on it. Well, you know what? That's not my experience with Amy. I don't know if that's true or not. Just correct them on it. So that's another way you can help too.
I got it. I'm making notes. You posted something today that just kind of, hey, baby, is that Zoe?
Yeah.
Hi, sweetheart. She is so cute. We are all about encouraging, and I have to say that when Nikwa, said it's a lady named Amy that's running for office, and and we just started going through, just doing that research. Your page is full of life and full of energy. First of all, everything is streamlined professionally and personally. You look like me. You look like Nikwa. You know what I'm saying? You look like us, a mom, in Richmond City, wanting to do something positive, wanting to do something amazing for the city. You're connected with and aligned with a lot of the people that I knew, when I went to 7 high schools, but I didn't end up going to 2 in Richmond. I went to Highland Springs, and I ended up graduating from Manchester, between New Jersey, New York, and Virginia. But so those people, are also bright lights. So we just knew that this was going to be a great conversation. We are with you. We love your vision, and we will. My wheels are turning, and I'll just kind of hit you up in the email or text you.
Thank you so much.
Some ideas. We would love to, maybe have a night that we do calls with you or for you. Like, I'm in Florida, but if it's something that that we can do, that. Great.
Thank you. And speaking to the pages and just how, the professionalism and the care that I'm taking with my messaging, it's because 8th District, you deserve it. That's what I want them to understand. I want them to understand that you deserve all of this. You deserve somebody that's going to take the time to make sure that graphics are right and that messaging is on point, and that, you deserve it. So I funnel everything through 3 different times. I edit things over and over again and get so many people to look at things before I put it out, because I want to make sure that the 8th District knows that this is the excellence that we deserve. And this is the excellence that I will provide, because I take very I don't take it for granted. This position, this process, and I just want to make sure that they know that like this is the standard. Okay, we raising the standard over here.
Right. Yes, it is. It is. The bar is up here. We see it. We recognize it. Thank you so much for it. Today you posted. What did you say? You were like, listen. People that's known me for a long time, I'm gonna be out here and y'all gonna be seeing my stuff. So and I just said, tonight I'm gonna tell her, girl, you better go full steam ahead. Don't let you post 5 times in the morning, 5 times in the mid-morning, 5 times in the late morning.
The train is about to pick up, and I'm like letting them know you might just go past Southside Plaza, and your mom might be on every in a 3-mile radius, and it's okay. It's all right.
When I come up there, I better see your name all up and down all up and down Southside Plaza. So this is the time to do it. And anybody that got a problem with it, they just need to go somewhere else because this is the time to do it.
They need to take several seats back because change is coming. And for the 8th district, and she in there. I'm already claiming it. I'm claiming it. She got it. She in there, and we're gonna celebrate. Okay, we're gonna celebrate. And you have our support. And I'm here in Virginia. I'm in Richmond. Even though I'm in Henrico, I'm still going to be out there advocating for you, everybody that I know. And my boyfriend actually graduated from Huguenot High School in '94. So
I probably know him. You don't have to say it on here, but I probably know him.
Yes, I will talk that offline. But his parents still live over South Side and all of that. So I will definitely be communicating that with his parents and everybody in the community over there as well.
Yes, we're going to work to get those 8,000 people. They need to get registered. They need to get registered. Thank you so much. You have a supporter here, Miss Tisha Irby. She is in the comments. Thank you so much, Tisha, for joining us and just giving Amy all the love. We lift you up. For sure. Stay encouraged, stay strong, and we are going to be rooting for you. Thank you so much.
And thank you for coming in and sharing your time with us because I know you have a lot on your plate, but I appreciate it. We really appreciate it.
It's all good.
Thank you. Have a great night, a good weekend, and we'll be in touch. We're going to talk to you soon.
Yes.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Amy. Thank you. Bye. All right. So, yes, Miss Tisha, thank you so much for joining us. Yes. So, this conversation has been really, really dope. We want to just wrap up with a couple of things. Our norm. Again, this is our last chat of the season. Nico and I decided to kind of break it down into seasons because it's become such a popular and fun journey. We have a lot of things that we need to kind of circle back and give some action work to. So we're going to take the next 2 weeks to do that. We have a cool show planned in the middle of summer, and then we'll take some more time to kind of circle back around, reconnect with some folks, get some things together. For August, September, October is going to be cool, and get ready for the new year. And voting season, November.
I was say that, yes. Toya, this is very important to Toya and I. This show, we wanted to educate because we are in some crazy times. I mean, this is not the first and it's probably not going to be the last, but we have never experienced certain things at this capacity. And I think that at this point, we need to focus on those things that matter to us. And we need to stick together and make sure that we are supporting those who are doing good for us and that look like us. It's time for a change. I feel like this shift that's happening is a shift of a lot of things across the board. And it's important that we stay educated and don't allow fear to take over. Because fear is something that will take you away from your dreams, will take you away from a lot of things because you fear it. And I think that's how society tries to control us, through fear, because with fear, you don't want to go and try to find out the truth because you're fearful of it. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. And when I say they, I mean the world, society. We need to start going back to our communities, supporting those in the communities. If you know somebody there, and you're not in that community, still support, advocate, all of these different things in order for us to be able to sustain and have the things that we deserve, so
Yeah.
that's just
Thank
that's just my
you.
cup of tea for this
That's a
evening.
big cup of tea. That's an important cup of tea right there, girl. Importante.
Yeah,
So, how's your week been? I haven't talked to you this week.
it's been a
How
busy
are you?
week. A busy week.
Mhm.
My mom's birthday is on Tuesday the 30th. So happy early birthday, Linda. That's her name.
Happy
Shout
early
out.
birthday.
So we're having a party for her on tomorrow. So that's what I was busy also this week, just trying to put things together. It's not a surprise. She knows about it, but I just wanted to show appreciation. My mom is one of those people that she looks out for everybody.
Yeah.
She just can't say no. She has a big heart.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to do a little something. It's just a dinner. We're having a dinner with just
Oh,
small people,
yeah.
that we have, and I think she'll enjoy it. She, how some people are like, oh, I don't really want to do anything.
Oh, she'll be happy when she gets there. It'll be good.
I'm like, no, come on. So,
It'll be good. That's so good.
how was your
Oh,
week? I know you were
um,
busy too.
huh?
I said I know you were busy too. So how
Yeah,
was
yeah,
your week?
yeah. Yeah, it's been a super busy week. I'm trying to kind of think back to how the week went. Um, I don't know, just regular, smegular. Yeah, the 9 to 5 was really exciting. We had a lot of cool things happen. I know I don't talk about what I do outside of Mamas with Commas a lot, but I do brand management for 2 companies, and it was just so explosive this week. The people that we were able to connect with this week was very, very exciting.
That's good.
It's been just very uplifting and inspiring, just across the board. Um, let's see. I think I told you guys I registered another person to vote. I love doing that now.
There
Like
you
that's
go. I like that. You didn't tell me that. Well, I didn't talk
saying.
to you this week. So yeah, yes, another thing Toya got on her list. Okay. So if you in
Hey,
Jacksonville and you see this young lady, she's going to get you registered to vote. Okay.
I'm asking. It's like I'm 18 on my birthday coming up, and I'm like, I got the phone ready. So that's an amazing thing that's been going on. We got our items for our shop in the mail, so we're gonna start taking some content pictures and getting our items posted. It's little accessories that we think that you guys would like little queen hair clips and like just cool things to kind of keep you inspired throughout your day. I got this in Orlando a couple weeks ago. It's a Hamsta, and I got one for me and Alana. She was having like a bad week or whatever, and it just brought good energy to both of us. I had a call with her, and she had hers on, and she was like, I just put it on because I needed some good juju. So that's what we're gonna have. We're gonna bring to our shop some cool accessories. So look out for that coming in the next week or so. The pictures, and it's available, on Facebook. If you want to purchase anything, we'll ship those things out to you. And let's see, we got our artwork.
Yeah.
So we've been kind of circulating the Mamas with Commas
Picture.
picture
Yeah.
of me and you. That was super dope. We
Yes.
love that, right?
I loved it. It was super
Yeah, she
dope.
did a good job.
We got a lot of good feedback on it. A lot of people liked it. I like
Yeah,
it.
a lot of people like it. So we have some items coming in with that logo on it. We'll have like a mug and some little, trinket items. We'll do a gift basket, note cards and things like that, just to kind of keep the good energy and the good vibes spreading to everybody. Mamas, Commas.
Thomas.
Um, yeah. So now Mamas with Commas have their own Facebook page. So we have our own Facebook page, separate from JourneyRight. So look out for that. Instagram, Mamas with Commas Instagram page. So just kind of bringing everything together to keep everything in one place where easy to find, easy to reshare the information, the stories, and the chats with people, keep the energy flowing. So it's been a good week. It's been a really, really good week.
We're also on Spotify as well. Like if you guys can't visually, like if some people like sometimes I like to listen to which Toya hooked me up with visual books. When you're walking or whatever, cleaning or whatever like that, you can listen. Most definitely listen.
Yes. I wasn't an Audible book fan. And then I listened to Charlemagne's book. When I think it took about a week, while I worked, I listened to it and I absolutely loved the experience. So, if it's something that you haven't done before, just try it out while you're working out, at the grocery store, whatever, you put your earbuds in and we'll be there, having our conversation, talking to you. Yeah, so I'm trying to think.
I used to travel a lot for work. Years ago. Yeah. So that's how I would get my reading in, because I had to drive, but I could listen. And that helped me read more books, even though I was physically reading them, but I was able to get, that in because I could drive. But so
definitely, yes. So we are on Spotify. We are there for you guys. It's not live, but we try to get it uploaded within 24 hours. So it should be available by tomorrow. Yeah, and then we had another kind of like police death resurfaced this week. Elijah McClain. So that kind of that was hard, to hear how that went down.
Well, it's tough because a lot of these things have been taking place. They took place
months ago, a year ago,
coming out, and it's just disheartening, guys. I mean, I just think that we really need to hone in on what we need to take care of, because this stuff is really getting out of hand. Between that sex trafficking, that's a whole nother situation that has been going on, that I mean, that could be another discussion, but we really need to watch out for our babies. Be careful who you allow your babies to go with, hang out with. Even if you think the person, just be cautious. Things is really crazy now. And now there's a new thing. I don't want to say a new thing, but there's something else going on where, people are coming up being hung. And they're trying to call it a suicide, and it's not a suicide. It's not a suicide. I mean, I hate to put this out here like that, but, people of color are not randomly hanging themselves from places. And that's just something that, So I'm just gonna put that out there, and those who know, and I don't have to elaborate. So I'm just saying that we really need to wake up. We need to stop fighting each other, and we need to stick with each other and fight the enemy. And like I said, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And I love Amy's energy, that Amy for the 8th district, and we'll keep saying it, because everything that she has talked about on this show is exactly what we've been saying for decades. And it could happen, and if we could just acknowledge and stop doubting ourselves and just stop hating on each other and stick together, we would be so much more powerful. And see, that's what they don't want. That's what they fear. Because we are powerful, we're beautiful people, we're talented, we have many talents. And that's just my, it's just how I feel. And I feel like, this is a time right now for the change, and we need to take advantage of this time.
Yeah, absolutely. The guests we had on tonight, even circling back to Chris and to Brad, we're going to continue conversations with them, and you'll see, we may not have this full on 2-hour, 3-hour chat, but we're going to do some sporadic things just to keep the support around voting, the education of our young people, why it's important to vote, why it's important to feel proud to be an American, and just to find a place in that space, so that you can have a purpose when you're at the polls. And to stay connected with Amy in any way that we can to help her, because it's just so cool to have somebody that is a mom, that knows the same people that we know, that has driven the same streets that we've driven, with such a personality that's willing to do the work that she's willing to do. We're going to rally behind her and do all that we can. So if you're in Richmond, definitely check out her website. If you're around the world, check out her website. She listed the ways that you guys can, help her out. And that's just a start. That's just one person. She mentioned that there are 9 districts in Richmond. So there are 8 other people. So, and that's just Richmond. I'm in Jacksonville, so it's more people here. So I'm going to get familiar with the folks here in my area. We encourage you to get familiar with the folks in your area and just be active and be ready to go in November. We need to celebrate, and go to those shows, dancing and singing.
We might need to do a live election day. We need to do a live election and celebrate.
That will be fun. Yeah. Absolutely. We're going to bring it. It's going to be a good time. We need to get the energy up.
Bring Chris and Brad back for that one.
Definitely. Absolutely. Yes.
Brad's energy.
Let me tell you what, his page is Brad Walrun. I mean, it's his name. He gets you got to experience it. He'll come on and he'll just, I call it om, just the energy and the sound of the earth. He'll come on and he'll just give you that om, and you're just watching it, and it just gives you such peace, during this time. Like I said, his words are very bold and very profound, and he's just had an amazing spirit. I'm just so happy to be connected with him and happy that he was able to share with us. And then Chris, through his work, it's Christopher Clark. Yes. His wife is just as creative. His daughters, I know one of them, he posts her work of art she does. They have a brand new baby boy, but his art is just amazing. So we're excited.
I loved his artwork. I mean, the room he was in, just a panoramic. It's like, oh my!
I'm so glad he did the show from that studio. And when you come down, we have to go over and. Yeah,
I might have to come back with a little piece, or may ship it home and But yes, I definitely would like a piece of art. I love art though. I mean, I'm an artsy person, so I love all of those things. But this is we relate in that way because you love art too. So
yes, that's my jam. That is my thing. Wow. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for your support. This is our, what is it, our 12th show, 11th show? This is our 11th show.
This is our 11th show. And we're very excited. I don't know, we've said this before, but when we first started, and this is why I talk about it so much as far as, fear and doubt. When we first started, we were very hesitant. We were like, I don't know. I'm not, I mean,
I don't know what to do. Exactly. How we gonna do this? What platform? Like now we edited. You know what I'm saying? Like now we remix the intros. Okay.
Exactly.
No, but it's a beautiful thing. Everything is a journey. Do not be discouraged. Be uplifted. Keep rising. We need you. You know what I'm saying? So
my daughter has to say hello. Say hi.
Hi, Bianca. How are you?
Good.
Good. Thanks for popping in.
She is like, listen, guys. She's been like, when am I gonna be on?
Oh,
her older sister. Her older sister was on, and so she's like, it's my turn. Where is my turn?
We got something planned for Bianca and Maddie. So we have some fun stuff coming up for the holiday with the kids. We're going to incorporate them into this show. So it's going to be fun. You guys stay tuned. Thank you so much. The next show is middle of July. We'll definitely put that date out there so you guys can plan to tune in and join us. But we will be taking a couple weeks off. So in that time, we'll be reaching out to you if you are Oh my goodness, we need to remind people, Atlanta. We are planning a trip to Atlanta for 2021. We're going to be working on all of the details in the next 2 weeks. So we'll be reaching out to you guys with, the hotel stay information, pricing, all that good stuff. The plan is to go to Divas in Defense, who was on one of our shows. You have to go back and watch that one. It's really, really good. They're going to teach us self-defense techniques. And Miss Rhonda from Girls on Fire, who she trains you how to use your firearm. She's going to come along with us and join us on that trip. But a weekend in Atlanta in 2021, like we need that.
It's definitely going to be an awesome stress reliever, some celebrations.
Yes.
And we've been connecting with so many people, and we want to share that with our family.
Yes.
Have a good time,
Have a good time. It's going to be fun. We're going to do a dinner. We're going to do a brunch. It's just going to be so much fun. So right now, if you're interested, we're just asking if you could leave your name, your email address, and I think how many people you plan on bringing. It's in our link tree on Instagram, and we also post a link tree here and there. It's just a link to get you clicked to another link that'll get you to a survey, so we can get you information. But that's going to be something that we're working on in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, and then we're going to bring some folks back that you guys loved. We're going to bring back Courtney, who talked to us about gosh, I can't think of the word right now. Birthing options. I'm sorry.
No, it's a birthing.
Yes.
We're going to talk more because we loved her energy as well. And I think one of the things Toya and I wanted to talk about that's been a big issue is the care that we are receiving when we're having children. A lot of women are passing away after giving birth, and there's something going on with the care that they're not receiving fairly. Because it's the numbers are too high. So a lot of people are starting to do home births. And that's where Courtney comes in, and she's going to touch a little bit more in reference.
Yeah, she's a midwife. So she delivers. She gave us information on what a doula is. So she, we encourage you to follow her. She was on our Mother's Day show. So if you want to watch that show and check her out, it's lots of good information. She does a Friday informational thing on Instagram. So today she probably has something new. We try to get her reposted, but she'll definitely be coming back. Living with Little. So Jasmine's gonna come back. Everybody loves Jasmine. Jasmine's coming back. I talked to her a couple days ago. She's like, I'm all in. She's totally down. But she does have her own podcast. It's called Living with Little. So you can definitely check her out there. And we're just going to stay connected with everybody and, and keep connecting. We have a lot of new connections that we're making that we'll be doing chats with them in the future before this year is over. So stay tuned. Keep in touch. We love you guys.
And so just really quick, October, we're also planning. I will have more information. Miss Toya's birthday is gonna be dope. I just gotta say that. I know I say that a lot, guys, but I love that word.
Yes, it is going to be a night to remember. So we're doing a party. We'll get that information out if you're able.
That's who we back. You guys love Nook. He will be back. Okay. I can't wait. This is gonna be. I'm laughing, and it's
gonna be so much fun. So much fun.
Shout out to. I just want to shout out my cousin Norman Burns. I know he's probably watching. He has I'm gonna repost it, but he does have a song called "Voting" to motivate people to go out there and vote. So I'm gonna go ahead and he sent it over to me, so I'm just going to repost. If you guys can support, he's definitely a good music producer, and this is his passion. He's done a couple of projects. He's working with something with Netflix, and I'm just supporting him. He supported me. He's actually he's one of the reasons I fell in love with hip hop and the whole industry and he taught me a lot. So just wanted to give him a little love as well. And also
we're gonna give him a lot of love. The people loved him on our show.
I told him, and he was like, oh my gosh,
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. So yeah, let's definitely share his music. The tea is amazing. The t-shirt you have on is amazing. We'll share that information as well.
share
But
this as well. You can get, I mean, all kinds of stuff.
Definitely.
I got a Kobe shirt for my cousin, for my son, and then I'm gonna post it. Everything I'm gonna post. I just wanted to wear this tonight because I was in my Nipsey mode. So I just put it on. But yeah, I'm definitely everything as far as this and the song, I'm just gonna repost and recap on some things. So you'll be seeing some updates from us, within the next couple of days. Cause like we said, this is our last show until we're gonna take a little break. We'll have a I guess you could say like a pop-up in July just to touch on a couple things and that'll be a great show. And then, we'll see you back in August. So we really appreciate everybody. We do. We appreciate it. Love you guys.
Love you guys. Have a wonderful night, a beautiful weekend, and we will see you guys in a couple of weeks. Love y'all.
Bye.
Get involved. Get registered to vote. Vote.
Amy.